Hey everyone, it's Steve from the garden. Well, the time has come for me to get my last big round of spring seed starting going. So I'm gonna get my sweet corn started, zinnia, I got some more lettuce to get going, and I have watermelon, including some seedless watermelons, which require some extra attention to get them to germinate properly. So I'm gonna start with my sweet corn. Now for sweet corn, typically you just start these seeds right outside, but I like to get a little bit of a jump start on the season. Sweet corn is one of my favorite things to grow during the summertime. So what I do is I start them indoors and then I'll transplant those outside once it gets past the danger of frost, which for me is around like May 15th. And at that time, that's also when I start the next round of seeds in ground. So what I'm using this year is I'm going to use my 242 tray. Now my first round of sweet corn I'm going to plant is my big one, and this is where I not only harvest the sweet corn for fresh eating, but I also will can the leftovers at that time. I like doing the big round first because that frees me up in terms of the canning time. I'm not trying to can sweet corn and tomatoes and everything else at the end of the season. It's much easier just to get a big round going in the beginning, can them, and then you're done with that part for the year. The variety of sweet corn I'm going to be growing this year is called Yellowstone. It is an augmented super sweet, which means it has the sweetness of the SH2 super sweet varieties with the more tender kernels of the SE or sugar enhanced varieties. The seeds look like this. Now they resemble the SH2 or shrunken kernel variety, and that's because they look shriveled up, and that's kind of how they got the name of the variety. So I'm just going to put one seed per cell in this tray. I got 9 rows and there's 11 cells in each row. So I'll be 99 seeds I'm going to start. I do not expect to get 99 plants. I never get that kind of germination rate with sweet corn. Now ultimately I need roughly about 60 plants or so to plant out this year for that first big round of sweet corn. And this variety will produce 2 ears of corn per plant. I've even had a couple plants will do 3. As long as the soil that you're planting them into is good and fertile, they will pretty reliably do those 2 cobs per plant. Moving on to the zinnias, I'm planting a giant dahlia mix, which has a variety of colors and types. There are singles, doubles, and semi-doubles in the mix. The germination rate on the zinnias are usually pretty good. And I'll put a few seeds in each cell, and if I get multiples, I might thin them out. Sometimes when I get 2 in a cell, I just leave them and plant them out that way. All right, the sweet corn and the zinnias are all planted in. I got them covered with soil. Now I just need to soak that soil with some water so that I can get the germination started. Oftentimes with the sweet corn, I'll actually pre-soak the seeds. I didn't do that this year, so I just have to make sure I keep them moist enough so that they suck up that water and get that germination started. Let's move on to the lettuce and then more importantly the watermelons and how we're going to deal with those seedless watermelons. For the watermelons this year, I'm going to be growing 2 different varieties. So I got a yellow variety, which is called Baby Doll. And I have an orange seedless variety called the Orange Crisp. Now with the seedless varieties, you have to have a seeded variety in order to get pollination, since they will not self-pollinate otherwise. That's part of how they get the seedless variety, is that the way the genes work within the seed, they just will not produce any pollen on their own, and you need a seeded variety to provide that pollinator. Now the pollinator that came with the seeds was called Ace. I'm not going to grow that variety. That variety is not a very good eating variety, so Baby Doll will be my seeded variety to act as my pollinator, and it is a good tasting watermelon all on its own. But with the seedless varieties, we got to do like an extra step because they are kind of finicky in how they germinate. They're a tougher seed to get going. All right, so for the seedless variety, these seeds, what I'm going to do is I'm going to nick the rounded part of the seed with the nail clipper, and that's just to enable them to germinate a little faster. by giving water a way to get into the seed a little bit faster. So I'm going to go ahead and do like 8 of these. And these seedless varieties are more expensive than the seeded varieties. So like this pack of seeds I got only came with like 15 seeds. So trying to maximize our germination with them is obviously it's not like a huge priority, but you might as well try to get your money's worth out of it. And again, I'm just kind of clipping the rounded end of the seed. And what I'm doing with these is, that's the rounded end, so I'm just using the nail clipper to kind of cut that little bit of a rounded end on there. For the baby doll variety that is seeded, I don't necessarily need to do this, but I only got like 5 good seeds left, so I'm going to just go ahead and do the same process on these seeds. The thing you want to keep in mind, besides that the seedless are more difficult to get going, is that you need a ratio of 1 seeded for every 3 seedless varieties that you're going to grow. Now you can have a larger ratio than that. My intention is to have something closer to like a 2-to-1 instead of a 3-to-1. And the reason I'm going with a higher ratio is just because the baby doll is quite good all on its own. It's just the seedless are easier to eat. Now for planting them, I kind of already dibbled the surface. And I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 seeds per cell of the seedless variety. Now I don't expect 100% germination rate on these, so as long as I get 4 plants, I'll be pretty happy with that. And if I get more than 4, then that'll be a bonus. And for the baby doll, since I only have 5 seeds, I'll put 1 seed per cell, with 1 cell getting 2 seeds. And really I only need 1 or 2 plants for these, but if I get more, again, that's just a bonus. I forgot I do have one other thing I'm going to be planting, and it's called birdhouse gourds. These gourds, once they grow out and they dry out at the end of the season, you can harvest them, remove the seeds and stuff from the inside, and then paint them or whatever you want to do in terms of decorating them, and turn them into little birdhouses for the next year. So I've never grown these before. I know they're like a vining plant, so I have to have a place where I can plant them and provide some support. But I thought I'd give it a try as a fun thing to do. And I'm just going to use 1 2.5-inch pot. These plants are supposed to get fairly big. The seeds themselves are fairly large. So I'm just going to start 2 seeds in this 2.5-inch pot. I'll just go ahead and stick the 2 seeds in there. And then we'll cover all that up with some soil. I actually add a little bit more onto there. These seeds are fairly big, so they should be able to push through that. Now, something I just did recently with my lettuces is my M.I. Gardner variety of lettuces. They were definitely getting on the old side. They weren't germinating as well as they used to. So I did go through and replace all those. I added a new variety into here, one that was called prize head leaf. I have not grown this particular variety before. And the other ones I have grown, and I'm going to start 4 cells of the Paris Island romaine, 1 cell of the freckles romaine, 2 cells of the iceberg, and 1 cell of Grand Rapids leaf and ruby red leaf. So that'll be like 10 cells total that I'm going to start. And I'll start lettuce throughout the summer, roughly every 3 weeks or so. And I don't necessarily wait for them to get full size before I start to harvest them. Once they get a little bit of a size to them, I can start picking off outer leaves. And then when they do reach full size, I can just cut them and harvest them completely at that point. And usually it's about the time when the next variety of lettuce is going to start getting to the point where you can just start harvesting the outer leaves. Now, one extra thing I'm going to do when it comes to the watermelons, in particular the seedless watermelons, because they are trickier to germinate, is I'm going to cover them with a clear plastic. And that's in addition to the humidity dome I will put over my 72 cell tray. And that is just to help make sure that those cells hold in the moisture so that they can germinate properly. And once I see them start to germinate, then I can remove this plastic and just keep the humidity dome on there until all the seeds have started, and I take that off. Let me know if you're growing any of these plants yourself, and if you are, let me know what varieties. And if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed, got something out of this, and we'll see you on the next one. For those that stuck around to the end, you can see my Amelias are starting to flower out. These flowers, you know, even though I don't give them much care at all, you know, they come back and flower each spring and they look really nice.